I've had a rapper stop and say he was scared I was gonna jump up on stage and beat him down. I was enjoying the show. I don't know what it's called, but I have it. A wild imagination? Yeah. When I was in high school, we went to a military Air Force base. They let us climb in an F4 and the pilot would ask us how it feels sitting in a fighter jet. Then I started to flip switches. As he watched, he asked me, have I ever flown? I said no. Why? Because you just did everything right to get this jet off the ground. I said this is the first time I ever got into a jet. Okay, just one minor plot hole here, buddy. Why would a pilot let you play with the switches on their aircraft? Hey kid, play with that throttle anymore and you'll be turning on more than just this jet. Wait, what? Y'all can take smack out of me if you like. Okay. Oh, no. But I was expelled from 12 schools before I even finished grade 5. I did a year in a mental hospital, and I did get kicked out of a school on the first day of school. And my last violent outbreak, I broke my teacher's arm, and if that wasn't enough, literally took a mouthful out of her thigh. And I spent time in juvie, but I've been clean for 6 years, so shut the frick up, y'all. You know, I wasn't fully believing this, but after the 4th row of emojis, it really cemented the truth for me. I know karate. When I was a senior in high school, a lot of people were getting robbed after school by gang members. Finally, they tried it with me once. It was 2 guys. One had a gun. He said, "Give me your money, SA." And I said, "Are you sure this is a direction you want to go?" They started cussing. I then took the gun with one move, did a roundhouse kick to the other guy's face, knocking him down, and a drop kick to the first guy's nuts. I said, "You still want my money, SA?" One guy was crying. They both ran away. I didn't even realize a lot of kids were watching, and they all started clapping. My crush was there. She gave me a kiss on the cheek. She ended up dating me, and the rest of the year, I was treated like a king. I'm in college now. We're getting married. Never underestimate the smaller guy. Oh, wait, this isn't my fanfic Word document. I saw my teacher kissing my crush teacher. Saddest day of my life. Sometimes life isn't fair. But I took revenge by kissing her daughter at the same place he kissed my crush teacher. Photo for relevancy as to how cool I think I am. Yeah, look at my dirty face and a gun. Also, that's definitely how well developed my face and jaw is and beard. Yep. This Christmas, I gave my 2nd grader kids a script to follow as they opened presents. They were supposed to say one of 3 things. How cool! Just what I needed! So thoughtful! This was to prevent them being overly honest about receiving unwanted gifts or toys which were way too young for them. What I did not anticipate was the hilarity that would come when my senile 90-year-old grandfather labeled gifts wrongly and my 2nd graders began reacting with their script to things like coffee pots, men's multivitamins, small bottles of whiskey, razors, negligee, nose hair trimmers. Yes, I, a teacher, and openly admitting that I gave students, young underage children, alcohol. I wrote a paper, got an A, then forgot about it. Later, a teacher congratulated me for getting my work published in a magazine. I was so confused, but then I realized what was happening, and my blood ran cold. My paper had indeed gotten published in a magazine under my teacher's name. She straight up stole my work and got paid for it. I wanted to punch her in the fessy. But the school's humiliating punishment was better than any revenge I could have asked for. The school forced her to do some original writing in the form of an apology letter, and they were so proud of this experience they made it sponsored. Okay, fascinating. Walks into purple crayon fair to be told, "Put a mask on by police unless I'm eating." Barber has a bowl of lollipops on the countertop. I slowly move towards the bowl of freedom while they check other people. "Yeah, mate, I'm eating, see?" Old Barber's store laughs uncontrollably. 2 police realize masks don't stop the spread of anything as they breathe highly exaggerated sighs of peed-off air through their own masks. Hashtag loophole acquired. See, what scares me most about this is the fact he says, "Yeah, mate, I'm eating." As in, yeah, mate, as in Australian. As in, he is an Australian. As in, oh no, this guy is in Australia. Please at least don't be in the state of Queensland. I may not be the best looking guy. I'm prematurely balding and I'm starting to get a little bit of a gut. But I know how to talk to women. I get more hot chicks than anyone you know. I know Leonardo DiCaprio. Well, I don't know him as a friend or anything. I know of him, so, I mean, are you competing against that? I was at a club and and there was this smoking hot girl at the bar, and I guess her boyfriend had just left her, and she's crying, so, like a cat moving on its prey, I go up to her and say, "Do you believe in love at first sight, or should I walk past you again?" She definitely starts laughing right away. Then I say, "Well, here I am. What are your other 2 wishes for the genie?" She is definitely laughing so hard. I know I'm in. I say, "You do remember me? Oh, that's right. I've only met you in my dreams." Oh, it's so cringy. That was it. I bought her a drink. Within 10 minutes, we were making out. We were definitely doing that. We did the deed about an hour later, and I saw her a couple more times until she saw all the other women's phone numbers I had on napkins and pieces of paper in my drawer in my kitchen. I guess she thought we were exclusive. I think dishonesty and purposeful miscommunication is a positive personal trait. This is definitely pretty much a weekly thing for me. It's all a matter of knowing how to talk to women and being confident. I should teach a class. I once yelled at my class, cussing them out, insulting everyone on a personal level. And the teacher just stood there, shacking his head. Shacking? After I was done, he said he agreed with all my statements. That includes me calling 3 girls whores, 6 guys RRs, and 1 non-binary a freak of nature, and many more. Again, I don't understand how having people hate and despise you makes you feel better about yourself. What is your psyche doing there? Meanwhile, in what definitely sounds like an anti-vax mums group, I'm a lucky guy, raised long time ago by hippie parents, fully anti-vax, so my body is free from them. Never got vaxxed as a kid, and never did any vaccine as a grown-up. Thanks, Dad and Mum. When I had kids myself, their mum was okay with me to find the way to keep them free from vaccines. We found a doctor, anti-vax for himself and his kids, that asked us to buy the vaccines, to be registered at chemistry, and buy medical insurance as we bought them. Then we visited him, so it was registered as well, and he took the little labels on the boxes of vaccines to stick it on the vaccination certificate. He signed it. Then he told us our kids will never be vaccinated, as the certificate shows it was done. We did agree, and he emptied the syringes in the sink and threw the empty syringes in a special can. We were so happy our kids never had any vaccines, but now they have the proof they had them, so never have any problem for school or anything else. Why, yes, I don't understand the doctors and their practices and how this wouldn't actually make any sense or be possible. When you come out of Lush to a clapping audience because I spent so much money, queue early and get freezing cold like us, I'll take what I want. Like the woman in Lush said, "I don't care if none of them outside don't get any. You've queued for 2 hours." Price before the 50% was knocked off. I judge this person for investing so much money into something like this, but then again, I've spent the exact same amount on an electric saxophone that won't arrive until March, so... It's noodles for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me! For context, a video of a school fight scene. That happened to me when me and my brother was fighting because we both know karate, and I fell off a 4-story window because me and my brother was fighting over a girl. We were like Miguel and Robbie. My brother did a flying kick to my chest, then I broke my back and neck. I almost died. Luckily, I survived. Why is it that every time there's a BS fighting story, it always revolves around them knowing karate? Like, not Muay Thai, not ninjutsu, karate. Like, do they actually teach fighting in karate, or is it just how to make up BS stories? Okay, what you want is like a 3-act structure, because you need to have the starting bit, the middle bit where there's a bit of a struggle, and then you resolve, alright? So make sure you start there. Don't rush to the resolution too quickly. You want to make it believable. So, like, you know, give the girlfriend that you're into, make sure she has a boyfriend already that, you know, she leaves for you. That really works. I have misophonia, and my coworker thinks it's funny to eat very loud next to me. And today, I snapped, and I started violently screaming at him in front of a ton of customers. And I turn around like, "Oh, sorry you had to see that, guys." And this lady goes, "No, baby, get his nasty butt." Just gonna leave out the part where you were fired or had to see HR for verbally abusing your coworker? Okay. Blurry was waving at a security officer. The guy looked at him and rolled his eyes. Didn't wave back. Blurry stopped waving and pointed right at him and yelled, "Yeah, well, you're ugly and not a policeman." We talked about it, but honestly, that was such a sick burn. Okay, was it? I once gave a random man some cash so he can buy his meds. Me knowing he was lying. I followed him. He went to buy smokes. I recorded it and showed it to him next time he asked. He got red and never asked anyone again. Hi there, nice to meet you. I'm skeptical. Been there. I explained, as a bedtime story, special relativity to my daughter when she was 2. She's 8 now, and still talks about mass increase in time dilation. This stuff sticks! Story time! So today I was in Starbucks and gave my name as Hermione Granger. And then when they called my drink, a handsome boy was staring at me. And when I was about to ask him why he was staring at me, they called his drink under the name Draco Malfoy. And then he walked by me and said, Mudblood, and then gave me his number and winked. And the barista started crying and said, 10 points to Gryffindor and Slytherin, and gave us both free pastries. Why can't it actually happen? Boss, see you tomorrow. Me, boss, tomorrow is Saturday. Well, when I was your age, I used to work 12 hours a day and 7 days a week, and that's why I am here where I am today. Oh, so see you tomorrow or see you Monday? Well, when I will be your age, I want to share happier stories with my team members, so see you on Monday, boss. Okay, yeah, sure, whatever. When I was a kid, I sharpened my canine teeth with coins. Fortunately, I didn't do the same again when my adult teeth grew in, but at the time, it was honestly wicked. I bit this one chick who pulled my hair, and she had to lie to the nurse about her bleeding arm. Yeah, I'm sure the little girl was too afraid to point out that you bit her after she pulled your hair for a little bit. Like, your action was the more severe injury. Well, little girl, you did get shot 3 times in the chest, but you did spit on their face, so, you get what you deserve. Hello, Mal, the girl in front of me is watching TikToks on the plane, and one of my TikToks popped up on her For You page, and she liked it. Wait till she finds out I'm right behind her. Lamau. So, I got my whole class to drink water. I was by my casual Zoom meeting. We had just started, and my teacher asked me to say why I was so concerned about everyone's hydration. I gave a long 20-minute improvised speech about how they need to drink water. Needless to say, everyone drank 8 casual-sized glasses of water that day. How do you know? Oh, I was looking through all their windows at night and checking, making sure they had to drink. I made sure they had to drink. Best part of my day was transitioning to my afternoon class. Apparently, the kids coordinated an awesome welcoming for me. I walked in and they all got out of their seats, bowed, and started saying, "All hail the Queen!" To which I replied, "Back to your seats, peasants!" And they all burst out laughing. Oh, I seriously love my kids so much. So how can you tell when a teacher's losing their sanity in their job? I got Cyberpunk to run on my Wii. I don't know how, but I did it. It looks horrible, but I mean, there is always a downside to running new games on really old consoles. No, I cannot provide proof because it melted the outer casing of the Wii, meaning it no longer works. Wow, how convenient! Oh god, that must have been fun while it lasted. Oh, it was really fun. I had a second Wii, and the one I used to test the game had a broken fan, and I didn't want to search the internet to find a fan, so it overheated pretty fast, and I don't know what else had broke, but it didn't warn me that it was overheating and just powered off, mostly because it had melted, and also partly because when the fan had broke, it smashed something inside. Wow, you're just doubling down on it, aren't you?
When I'm angry at my girlfriend, I watch porn in front of her to piss her off, or pretend I'm texting someone, being busy in general. Sure you do. I can tell you right now, if anybody really did something like that to their girlfriend for seemingly no reason, you wouldn't have a girlfriend anymore. Weirdest gift I have been given or received. Some dude catcalled me on the street, and when I gave him a dirty look, he apologized and gave me $100 and said he was so sorry for the patriarchy. Okay, right, sure, that's great. You don't even want to know. When I was in the army, I was so badass that in basic training, they just let me do what I want. I was the toughest guy in the platoon. I could run faster, shoot better, and do everything better than anyone. The DI just let me go into the barracks and read Playboys. I became a sniper in the army and did all kinds of secret missions, all classified. Let's just say I was part of some major events. You won't read my name in the history books, but I was there and you can thank me for making your country safer at any time. No, I don't think I'm gonna do that. Feel like every little bit of this was made up. You're probably not even remotely a veteran, are are you? Well, this kinda happened to me once. Had gone to a barber and told him to cut my hair in a certain style, but that dude had to ruin my hair. Well, you see, I'm no power lifter or professional athlete, but I hit the gym 6 days a week. Okay. When I asked him why he couldn't just cut it the way I told him, this a-hole says he thought his style would look better. And so what if it's bad? It will grow out again. I was so pissed that I just got up from my chair, slammed his head on the table, took a trimmer and shaved half of his hair, making him half bald. Then said, "How about that for payment of your service?" The owner came running and saw what was happening and asked me what was happening. Okay, sure. I just said I gave your boy a little advice as payment rather than money. Do you need some of that advice? Sure you did. You physically assaulted the crap out of someone in their own business and walked away totally free and fine. Still can't get over. The owner came out and saw what happened and asked what happened. That's how you know it was written by a 9-year-old man. I once pretended to have a psychotic episode and smashed a MacBook with a bat to keep my brother and his fiance from stumbling across pictures I photoshopped of her giving birth to me. Alright, but this is on 4chan, so that's actually quite plausible. I was working in the kitchen at the restaurant inside of Cinderella's castle when a family of 4 came in for dinner. About halfway through the dinner, the husband politely stood up and tapped his glass for attention. He announced that his wife of 15 years had been cheating on him for over a year. The entire place stood still in shock. He motioned for his kids, paid the waitress, and left the wife crying at the table. That is one expensive way to leave your wife. A customer came through my line and was shaking. I asked him if he was okay. He told me he just finished 3 hours of chemotherapy and he had a week left to live. He said this was his last Christmas and all his family was coming to say goodbye. I busted out into tears. I ran around the other side of the register, hugged and squeezed him as hard as I could and told him I loved him. He kissed my forehead and said, "See you on the other side, sweetheart." Okay, sure, honey. Doctor: "You lost 12 pounds since the last time I saw you." Me: "Coffee." Coffee? Coffee. Pulls out a pack of Skinny coffee and shows her the ingredients. Sign me up. And that's how my doctor became my customer today. I can't believe there are people still out here trying to convince their friends and family that they're smarter than the doctors. Quit confusing your Google searches with their 14 years of schooling and experience. Everywhere I go, I don't wear a mask, and they still serve me or sell to me. I must have "don't confront me or I'll rip your head off and crap down your neck" face. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's not that they don't get paid enough to deal with your jackassery. 8-year-old was asked to sign a contract to agree to class rules at school. She said to the teacher, "It's not a valid contract if I don't have a choice." No, it's not a valid contract if you're underage. When my son found out that every fetus starts out female, he responded with, "So does that mean my penis is technically a birth defect and everyone that has one means they weren't strong enough to keep a vagina?" Let me guess, your son was 5 years old? Holy mother of run-on sentence. Let's see what I can do here. My toaster caught on fire yesterday, and when I realized it, there was a flame like 2 feet high almost touching my cabinet, so I panicked and picked it up so it wouldn't catch my cabinets on fire, but then I was just standing in my kitchen holding a flaming toaster, and my dad saw me and didn't say anything, and I didn't know what to do, so I ran outside with it and threw it at the ground, but it was on fire, so I picked it up and threw it. I'm sorry, I couldn't do it. Holy crap, I gotta move on. I just watched a woman drink laundry detergent at work today, bottle to mouth in the aisle. I said nothing, but when we made eye contact, she just gasped and was like, "I'm gonna buy it." I'm not worried about you buying it. What the hell are you doing? At Sainsbury's checkout, woman stands about 12 inches behind me, no mask on. "Move back a bit," I say. "I'm exempt," she cries. "I just asked you to move back. Or are you exempt from social distancing too?" I calmly replied. Round of applause breaks out from adjoining checkouts. No, it didn't, but I fully believe that you turned around and told an asshole to get away from you. Why do they always have to add the applause? What is with that? In year 6, this girl had a full-on fist fight over me. It was so funny. They forced me to watch them though, but it was funny having 2 people fight over me. It was, but they wouldn't turn on to me if I tried to walk away. Man, who wrote this? It was funny yet like torture at the same time. They did it every day for a week. Oh, sure they did, buddy. I know, it was the funniest, and another girl tried to stop the fight and asked me to go out with her. I'm sorry if I read some of these like a robot, but you have to understand, they're written like they were made by a robot, so I'm gonna read them that way sometimes. My 11-year-old daughter said, "Why didn't the Democrats allow an open and transparent audit of the 5 contested areas? It would have ended all the controversy." My 14-year-old son said, "Because it would have exposed the fraud. I didn't love my kids." In GameStop today, me handing a copy of Mortal Kombat to the sales assistant, sales guy looking down at the game and then up at me, mouth agape. "Wow, you don't look like the type I usually sell this game to." Haha, is that a bad thing or? Oh no, definitely not. not. You're a true gamer girl, not a fake wannabe. I think it's cool. Me uncontrollably smiling at this point. Thanks. I've never had anyone say that to me before. Hands me a game, and as I go to pay, he stops me. Don't worry, free of charge. By the way, when you get home, open the game straight away. So not only did I get a free copy of Mortal Kombat, when I opened the box, there was a piece of paper with his number along with the disc. So yeah, best experience ever. I don't think anybody at GameStop has enough energy to do this type of shit, girlfriend. Last week, I was at the library and I was wearing a gay pride t-shirt. This old lady comes up to me and says straight to my face, "Your kind are the reason why America is going to hell." I didn't even react or show emotion. Instead, I stood up, walked over and got a Bible, walked back over to her, held up the Bible, pulled out my lighter and set the whole thing on fire and dropped it right in front of her. I proudly exclaimed, "Well, I'll see you in hell." Everyone in the room stood up from their tables and clapped. One guy even took another Bible and threw it out the window, shouting, "Hell yeah!" It was seriously the most badass and liberating moment I've ever experienced. I love this so freaking much. Oh, good God. You love the fake, really cringeworthy story? Alright, to each their own, I suppose. Worked under a German supervisor once. Only German I've ever worked with. Guy was a total bully to men and women in the workplace. I throttled him when he tried his crap with me and he almost cried. Lol. Got fired, but felt great to let him feel some English hands around his throat. Wow, aren't you a very badass big man? Who's a big man? Making stories up on the internet. When I went to my white friend's house and his grandpa with dementia thought we were in 1892 and started panicking and screaming, "Who the hell let the slave in? Grab the whip, Cheryl." Sure he did. Wild, man. My girl told me that a guy at the club was hitting on her. She pointed him out for me and I stormed over there. He was with a group of other ugly-looking drunks. I asked, "You're hitting on my girl?" He looked over and said, "Maybe so." At the end of the night, I'm standing outside the club with blood on my hands and 4 grown men begging me for my forgiveness. Mess with my girl, get a beating from me. Simple as that. Wow, someone's very confident in their manlyhood. Jesus Christ. By the way, jealousy of this level? Oh man, you got some problems. Some serious problems. Yesterday, I was at a bus station. An American saw me and joked that there are no toilets in India. It made me angry and I slapped him so hard he fell down. I said there are no real brave men in America. People at station clapped and shouted, "Long live India." Hashtag don't mess with Indians. Well, I totally believe that hashtag, just for completely different reasons. I'm actually in the 99 percentile IQ, you cocky fucker. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think that, never mind. Now go on, Google and look up percentile, then look up IQ, intelligence quotient. After that, look up MS, because I have one of those too. You don't know what an MS is. What's your level of giftedness, or did you not even know what that means? While you're at it, go check out Mensa. God, that was actually really difficult to read. First day at McDonald's. First 10 minutes of my think you mean shift, I was asked by the manager to clean the toilets. I said, "Screw you, mofo," and then threw my tag in his face. Then I dragged him into the toilets and buried his head in the water and said, "You like that, you little bitch?" And I finished with, "Don't ever tell me what to do again, got it?" And lastly, I quit, by the way. Enjoy cleaning them yourself. There's got to be some sense of sexual gratification these mofos feel from making these little stories up. Don't know if this belongs here, but I found this comment under the song called Kim by Eminem. Funny story, my high school teacher named Kim pissed me off so bad at the time, so I showed her this song and I got expelled from school. LMFAO! Right on, bro. Oh boy, here we go. Let's see, gotta zoom in here a little bit. Went to Starbucks because I don't know how to sleep. Tons of people in line. Everyone looks like zombies and I'm spacing out myself. All of a sudden, this guy stands next to me and goes, "This is crazy!" Then grabs my hand to hold it. We both looked down at it and looked up. Him, "You're not my wife." Me, "Nope." Girl behind us, "You're holding the wrong hand, honey." "You sure?" "We're sure." I feel committed to finishing this Starbucks experience with you now. I'm not paying. Oh, never mind, let me go back to my wife. I'm not paying either. Guy in front of us, "Come hold my hand, sir. I'll buy you any frappuccino you want." Husband went and held hands with the strange man and looks at both me and his wife and goes, "At least someone cares about me." I mean, at least that one is slightly believable, but let's talk about that iFunny watermark. After spilling my trauma, my therapist walked out silently and came back 5 minutes later with tear streaks and an empty shot glass. "I'm out. Goodbye. You never saw me here." Is that legal? I mean, I don't think there's a law against crying, but I'm not sure. I went into my local CVS, and of course a worker started yelling at me for not wearing a mask. I explained to him the concept of herd immunity and how we shouldn't be sheep. By the end, some people started clapping and taking off their masks. The worker apologized and let me through. Just gotta say, if you know anybody that uses the term sheep or sheeple unironically, you might need to reevaluate your relationship with them. Or just keep a distance in general. Went to a Megadeth concert and screamed out, "Screw Metallica!" right as the song ended. Holy Wars. Everyone turned around and cheered and they lifted me up like a king. What's wrong with Metallica? I mean, other than the Napster bullshit, really, what's wrong with Metallica? What'd they do? Me? How was your day? 8-year-old. I just worry they're doing it wrong. Doing what wrong? They separate everything so we can't understand anything. Who says music isn't really math, or math isn't science really? Someone made categories, but the world is mushier than that. Wait, what? Hold on. Who says math isn't science? I don't think anybody has ever said that, ever.
Is math related to science?
Shut the fuck.
Today, I got a detention for standing up for what I believe in. Oh boy, I'm excited. Teacher, write down 3 things you dislike about yourself. Me, sits there. Kara? I don't care. Why aren't you writing? I can't do this. I'll take a 0, sorry. Why? Because I refuse to promote self-hate. Because some people in the world can fill out 20 of these front and back with no blank spaces, and this can trigger someone. You have to do it or I'm sending you to the office. Okay, walks to the office. Needs more notes. Okay, well, I can kind of agree that a teacher telling all of their students to write down stuff they dislike or hate about themselves is kind of stupid. This isn't real, so what does it matter? I am cutting onions. Me, crap, this onion is hot. Is the onion going to make you cry, Mom? Yes. Mom, it's just the, oh my God, are you serious? The what now? The the S oxide. Yeah, that's what it is. Oh God, I'm sorry, I can't keep reading it. It's too hard. No, I'm not drunk, I'm just tired, leave me alone. My little brother met one of his PlayStation friends IRL when both of our families were on vacation in different states and happened to be staying at the same hotel. They recognized each other's voices and that's how they realized, LMAO. Right, just got stopped by police. No license, registration, insurance, plates, no problem. Much love and respect for Sergeant Alvarez for listening to the information and upholding my right to travel and letting me leave freely. He even gave me his info so we can have coffee and talk more about this issue and send him material to study. He seemed very intrigued when I told him take off his freaking mask. Then he proceeded to ask me about masks, vaccines, etc. That's a real man who's checking his ego and is willing to learn anywhere he can. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop right there. Any of this freaking anti-mask bullcrap, I'm not gonna tolerate it. We're gonna move on. Screw your fake story. It's not even entertaining. I had sex with my mom in a party without... Yeah, we're not reading this one. We're moving on. I asked my daughter to season the chicken, and look what she did. Haha, she's pretty funny. Believe it or not, I was seated by chance to an Apple executive in a dim sum restaurant who was boasting to his table about being at the top secret Apple convention, where a new tech was being shown, using vaccine-delivered nanoparticles to harvest human processes, target outcomes. What? Is this mofo a check mark? Wow, I can see your name. I'm gonna look you up later. Why side hustles matter. I walked into a Chili's and the host asked, "Do you have a reservation?" I responded, "No, I have an offer, $2 million. The host fainted. I became the owner of that Chili's overnight. Now when I walk in, the host asks me, "How many 20s would you like?" What? What does that even freaking mean? And why is Elon Musk in the photo? Also, you paid $2 million for a Chili's? Why does that seem so high to me? I'd believe maybe 1, maybe 1.2, but not 2. What was your first red pill? When my dad had a stroke and the social worker wanted to kick him out of the hospital because he was a white male with green eyes and public hospital was not for people like him. I don't have any witty retorts to some of these people. They are so insane it hurts. When did you realize that teacher you loved was actually an ass? I had a sub-teacher last week in my 8th grade bio class who kept trying to make me do my work. I don't do homework. Kept bugging me about it, so I kicked the crap out of him. In 8th grade, you kicked the crap out of your teacher. You are very badass. Something Liam said to me today. Mom, I'm going to delete TikTok off of your phone. It seems when I watch it, I always see people that are showing their gold and diamond chains, mansions, cars, and money. It's fine that they have it, but what about all the people watching that have nothing? What if everyone on TikTok talked about God and Jesus? TikTok would be a happier place, and I definitely know this world would be a happier place. As soon as I deleted it, he said, "Gosh, that being gone makes me feel so much better." Wise thoughts from a 6-year-old. Jesus Christ. When you see 4 unconscious bodies in a river, don't question it. What did you do? And understandable, Tom? Maybe we shouldn't get too much into this? Yeah, whoops. That sword is fast. I threw one guy off a balcony who assaulted me. I stabbed the other one's hand and slammed his head on the bar. Threw him off. One guy grabbed me from behind. I elbowed him and stabbed him in the stomach. He fell over the bar. The last guy just gave up and ran. It was self-defense. Like I said, don't question it. Press X for doubt, dude. What would you do if someone grabbed your hand, raised it, and started slamming it on the table and chanting, and drank your Dr. Pepper or beer? Oh, and threatened to burn your house down and kill you and your family. Yeah, the Dr. Pepper part wasn't convincing enough. You had to add family murder in there too. Okay, so if men love harder or more deeply than women, why is it that in 7 years of being an ICU nurse, I can count on one hand how many men were there for their dying wives? They don't even call for updates. The kids, sisters, extended family do. How dare you lie like that? If you really are an ICU nurse and you're just making shit up like that, shame on you. I was at the doctor's office today. Nurse comes in with a mask, gloves, and a face shield and rudely tells me my mask doesn't work if it doesn't cover my nose. I asked if she's had the vaccine and she said yes. I said, oh, then you can't catch it, right? She said no, she could still get it. Then you can't give it to me then, right? No, I can still be a carrier, I said. Then why did you take something that doesn't work? I mean, you take the polio vaccine, you're immune from it. She just gets angry and walks out. The doctor came back in and said, that was beautiful. Here's your script. See you next time. Yeah, polio vaccine totally didn't work. There's polio everywhere now. My daughter actually submitted this feedback at school. Not sure if I should ground her or buy her ice cream. All right, let's see. Things my teachers can do better. Not use collective punishment, as it is not fair on the many people who did nothing, and under the 1949 Geneva Conventions, it is a war crime. Okay, sure. How old is your daughter supposed to be here? I once told a cool kid, pretty sad that you're outing yourself as a virgin who only knows sex from porn if you think women actually sound like that. All his friends laughed and he got so embarrassed he left the room. I felt so powerful. Bet you did, buddy boy. My trans 8-year-old daughter hugged me on election night. Yay, the reincarnation of Hitler is gone. Now I can have a future, I remember her saying. We were both hugging and crying that night and everyone in the Starbucks clapped. That 100% didn't happen. Screw Trump, but that didn't happen.
I got pulled over just now and the freaking cop hit on me and was trying to get me to go on a date with him, and I turned his butt down and got a ticket. Oh, can you say salty as heck, be feminine puppy dog, the butthead?
Ma'am, do you know how fast you were going?
I have a boyfriend.
Oh, I'm sorry. That completely dismisses your dangerous driving. Please, on your way.
What was your wittiest comeback that you're still proud of? Oh, that title just, it's like a perfect rod to catch these kind of people. Working at a pizza shop, troublesome customer tries to stack coupons that clearly state 1 coupon per purchase. After being refused by everyone in the restaurant, including the owner, he goes on a tirade saying that the district attorney is his cousin and was threatening a lawsuit. Lol. As he was heading for the door, he said, "You can't afford to mess with me." And I shouted after him, "You can't afford a large pizza." You know, honestly, I'm gonna give this a credibility of 4 out of 5. It sounds kind of legit. The one thing I'm distrusting is the fact you are an employee at a pizza shop and you like the job enough that you're willing to defend them. It's like a McDonald's employee saying they like the Filet-O-Fish burger, like, why? I was at Publix yesterday and a maskless woman was right up my booty in line to check out. I turned around and very bluntly said, "If you're gonna wear a mask, you need to stay at least 6 foot away from me." I stepped forward to get some space so as not to leave the decision solely in her hands. She responds, "I am 6 feet away." At this point, all my anti-mask hatred bubbled up, and I barked, "No, you freaking weren't until I stepped away!" and turned away. Then she mumbles under her breath, "It's not going to protect you anyway." I turned around, looked her right in the eye, and said, "So we," gestures wildly around the store, "are all dumb, and you're the smart one." Okay. She was gobsmacked and just stood there stunned. The cashier and bagger were both particularly sweet to me after that. I'm done, quietly shaking my head in disgust. I think I'm gonna get a bullhorn, just start asking people very loudly where their mask is. Moral of the story, there is a difference between intelligence and wisdom, and this person is not displaying the latter. I had a terrible night, a terrible compliment at Costco, and I just need some retail therapy. Somehow I scored the luxury cart at Target, complete with a cup holder, so naturally I had to fill that empty space with some Starbucks. Have you figured out they're white yet? As I was checking out the security guard... Oh, wait, hang on. As I was checking out, the security guard came up to me and said, "Use commas, people." He also said, "I wanted you to know that I have great respect for you for not wearing a mask." Oh my god. I was like, gulp, is there a but? "No, but there is on me. Check out my butt. Look, sexy security guard, hey." He said, "No, I just wanted to let you know that I have so much respect for you for not wearing a mask." I nearly cried. In a world of dirty looks, people bashing others for not wearing masks, this was the greatest blessing. God knew I needed a word of encouragement today. Oh, and they're religious, of course they are. So much I want to hate on this post, but the greatest thing that I can't take seriously is when she asks if there is a but, and the security guard doesn't say, "Yeah, on me." Yeah, sexy security guard. Look at me. A 50-plus-year-old woman who was cracked out on drugs approached me, 21-year-old male, at a bar and said,
"My husband is a Hell's Angel and he could kick your frickin' butt."
I was so poop-faced, but I remember sobering up so fast from that encounter. Seconds later, after responding, "I freaking own the Hells Angels," I find myself aggressively making out with this crackhead in front of all of my college friends. Sent the bar into a massive roaring cheer. What? Yeah, okay, buddy. Been on my own medical roller coaster ride for like the last month. Today saw me in the city for some tests at the hospital. While I'm walking back to my truck, I see this young fellow letting out a lady by the ER entrance. She's maybe late 40s, early 50s. I ask him if he wants my parking space over in the lot. He points at her and tells me, "She's got the COVID, man." I could hear the look on her face through the mask she was wearing. Please don't judge me. She's barely moving towards the door. I'm thinking, I ought to go in and grab her a wheelchair and roll her on up. Instead, oh no, I walk up close and tell her, "It's just a coronavirus. Probably ain't even as bad as the flu. Don't let him for #5 with your head." Her face brightened magically, and she almost marched through the ER doors. For #5 this medical tyranny. Amazing how one's ignorant, selfish actions can cause someone else's ligaments to completely heal. Little did you all know that this little lady could deadlift more than you ever will. Picking up some short man syndrome vibes here. And she's only beginning to reach her potential. If you felt inferior to her while reading that, that's because she's willing to push herself more than you ever will. Her 245-pound deadlift is an amazing accomplishment, and I am so proud of her. If you mess with her, you also mess with me. With my 460 pounds deadlift, you won't want to even think about blocking our way. You know, you can be proud of someone without threatening everyone else that you're talking to. My baby said her first word today. Oh, that's nice. I'll kill you! I could kill you if I wanted to! Went on a virtual social last Friday. My ex was there. Question came up, what was the first Disney movie ever to be released? Answer comes round, it's Snow White. And my ex pipes up, "How is that the correct answer?" She says with confidence to the quizmaster, "It's actually Steamboat Willie." I quickly hop on the mic. "May I interject? It's actually Snow White. Steamboat Willie is the first Disney animated short. Snow White is actually the first Disney animated movie. You are wrong." Whole call goes wild. I stay cool. She leaves the Zoom call out of embarrassment. 'Twas a good night. TLDR, Disney knowledge is cool. I'm sorry, but I stay cool. Who says that? And actually is. Okay, whack the frog. I forgot I ever listened to a video covering this same topic months ago. I listened to it while drawing a piece of art, and now I'm laying here redrawing the picture while accidentally on this video on the same topic from last time. Weird stuff. Please like me and approve of my attention. I was about 9 when I saw 2 boys in early teens smoking and yelled to them, "You know those will kill you!" And they replied, "Want to come here and repeat that?" Nah, I like the idea of you dying before me.
Oh wow, you were a badass 9-year-old.
Everything except your last reply is believable. I was about to reply with an r/that happened. And well done, your submission has been accepted. High schoolers of Reddit, what's your worst experience in sex ed class? Getting the fishing rod out again, I see. A guy was arguing with a girl about being able to control when you get an erection. She said we can control it. Proceeded to pull his fully erect member out in the middle of class with the words, "If I could control it, why would it be this hard from arguing with an ugly bee like you?" And he got arrested. I'm surely he got sent to juvie. Okay, probably not juvie, but you know, he got expelled. That's expulsion right there. Come on. Golden rule of school, children. If you don't want your teacher to do it to you in the classroom, don't do it yourself. I am aware of the loopholes in that statement, such as a hot teacher, but shut up. Hey, guys, what's the ultimate way you go about impressing a girl? I'm just gonna say it. Orgasms. I've made 3 women cry and 2 others said, "Oh my freaking gosh." Screaming in disgust and crying in disappointment, that's not what an orgasm is. And survey says, you're full of it. Popped into H&M to buy a sweater for work. This guy follows in, says, you probably don't remember me. I see you walk down this street a few times a week and you give $1 to at least one homeless person. You've given me at least $30 over the last 6 months. I finally found a job and a place to live. Thanks. Then hands me $50 and walks away. Tell me sweet little lies. When I was a flight attendant, me, closing overhead bins. Guy, I thought you were not supposed to smoke in the aircraft. Yes, that's correct. Well, you are smoking. What? I don't even smoke. Smoking. Hot. Surrounding passengers. Ooh. Oh. Maybe I should have left that at the gate. Haha, please fasten your seatbelt. So, can I take off with your number? Random guy. Damn, he just went there. He got free pretzels for being punny. Admit it. You write self-inserting fanfiction, don't you? Admit it. So, I used to work for an Audi car dealership. Most of our clients are educated, high net worth individuals. This lady came in and bought a brand new Audi S8 for like $170K or something around there. A couple of days go by and my coworker receives a frantic phone call from the lady. She's super angry and accusing us of selling her a lemon. She tells my coworker that her brand new Audi just died on the highway and she is stuck in the middle of nowhere. She's very upset. So my coworker decides to troubleshoot. He asks her what warning lights are showing on her dash. Is the check engine light on? Is the oil indicator on? Are the lights yellow, red, flashing? She says no warning lights are on, just that the engine chokes and will not turn on. So my coworker asks her, what does your gas tank show? Is it full or empty? Is the fuel gauge all the way to the left or right? She looks at the gauge, gouge, whatever you want to call it, and tells him that the gauge is on the letter E. He says, ma'am, you ran out of gas. That's why you're experiencing this issue. The lady answers back, ran out of gas? What do you mean I ran out of gas? Do you think I'm stupid? Those sort of things only happen in movies, not in real life. We called Audi roadside and they came to put some gas in her car. This woman is a high-profile lawyer who makes over $800K a year. Yet, she did not realize that cars can run out of gas. People are idiots. I'm gonna say about 1/5 of this is true. True story is probably more like they said they filled it up enough for her when they actually didn't, and to resolve it, they decided to come and rectify the issue. But hey, can't come across as if you're the bad person, can we now? First time getting thrown out of a shop. This is an achievement for some reason. I can't handle feeling ashamed of my bad actions and behavior, so I'm gonna pretend it wasn't a bad thing to do at all. In the Asian shop on this place there, it was busy. I was the only one not wearing a mask. Got some smiles of acknowledgement from fellow shoppers, which made me smile. The owner ran up to me angry and said I have to put on a mask. I don't have one. I could sell you one, we've got them for £1. I'm not going to wear one. I said, well, you've got to have an exemption card. Yeah, I got one. At this point, another shopper stepped in. You can't make someone show you their card, it's against the law. Yes, I can, it's my shop, said the owner. Well, we could call the police now, said the shopper. He deserves a massive hug, by the way. It seemed like a discharge of energy in the shop that was waiting to be sparked. Wow, try to ease down on the incredible poetry there, buddy. For frick's sake, just put a mask on, piped up another shopper walking past. I smiled. How do you genuinely believe you are the person in the right here? Lamafao! I was talking with my girlfriend's grandma while waiting for my girlfriend to get ready, just putting on makeup and such, and I'm talking small talk since I barely know her, and she notices because the hoodie I'm wearing says, College of Winterhold, 4E201 Hotfire 4th. And the convo goes,
Oh, do you go to college? What do you study, girlie?
me, without missing a beat. Can't get the rhythm. I study arcane arts, more specifically, restoration. Now, I was fully expecting a
Is that a type of astronomy?
kind of response, but this lady scoffs and says, scoffing. Yeah, they just really need to iterate that she was scoffing here, guys.
Pah, that's pathetic. Everyone knows conjuration, when leveled up, is a superior branch of magic. Restoration can do nothing but heal your wounds and rebel against the undead. With conjuration, you can summon a Daedra to do the work for you.
My girlfriend does not play Skyrim, but her grandmother does. It's all we talk about now when I'm chilling with her grandma. There's only one part of this I can agree is fantasy, and it's not Skyrim.
2 days after I bring my newborn daughter home from the hospital, 22-month-old son, when's she going back? Back where? To her house at the hospital. She lives with us now. Mommy, you're not making good choices. Okay. I mean, the 22-month-old is clearly right, but he's fake. I was going on vacation with my family and saw this cute girl at the airport lounge that seemed to be my age. There's just something special about seeing someone your age at the airport. I don't know why. Okay. I approached her, and little did we know, we had seats next to each other. Long story short, we ended up screwing in the bathroom of the plane. Yeah, alright, cool, you lost us all. Then, when we landed, we screwed again in another bathroom. After that, we exchanged numbers and went on with our vacations. Today, she's my girlfriend, and I love her so much. Wow, how romantic. If that story was true, I feel like she would be incredibly upset with you sharing that with anybody. I just had to take my daughter to an ENT. Here was our conversation, looking at her chart. Doctor, allergic to aluminum and medications? Why would there be aluminum and medications? Me, she's allergic to vaccines. There's aluminum in vaccines. There's aluminum in vaccines? Really? Yes, sir. Interesting. I did not know that there was aluminum in vaccines. Why would that be in there? To himself, looking puzzled. How did you find that out? The CDC media and excipient list, it says it right on there. Really? It does? Yes, along with many other harmful ingredients like formaldehyde and human DNA. Human DNA. I didn't know that any of that was in there. I just had a bunch of vaccines to go to Africa. Well, you should go look. You might be shocked at what's in them. I guess so. Looking confused. Nice to meet you. Okay. Yeah, this doctor's definitely a real person that you had a conversation with. Just as a quick reminder, don't you ever mistake your 7 Google searches for someone's 14 years of medical training. OMFG, my mom was just cutting a baguette and I snuck up behind her and grabbed the bread and ran, and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I shouted, "I'm 24601, and now I'm hiding in my room with a huge baguette. What do I do?" Update, I built a barricade. Wow, so random. I remember in the 5th grade, a boy said, "Oh my God, I can see your bra strap." I stood up loudly with a lot of drama and said, "Oh yes, nobody can know that me, a girl, wears a bra. Somebody call Victoria because her secret's out." His face turned red and everybody laughed. To be fair, that one does seem at least a little bit believable. Although, I don't think for a second you were that clever in 5th grade. I'm in the store, and the moron manager comes over and tries to tell me to put a mask on, and I'm telling him I'm not. It's not the law, and no one can take away my freedom. Everyone is now watching. I yell, "This is America, not Russia. You do not have to wear a mask or do anything the Overwatchers tell you. I never wear a mask. I have never been sick. It is possible this virus thing is a hoax. Don't let them tell you what to do, people." Suddenly, people are taking off their masks and clapping. I have that effect. My 9-year-old son has learned about Karens through YouTube. He thinks a group of Karens should be called a complaint. No. A group of Karens is called a privilege. So I'm at a gas station getting Red Bull, and the guy in front of me is trying to get condoms, and his card got freaking declined. And this little old woman behind me whispered, "He just got cock-blocked by Visa." I freaking crapped myself. Again, depends on where you are because some old ladies get real bored, dude. LMAO, a girl asked me if I could rap, and I proceeded to rap the whole of Eminem's Rap God flawlessly. She then gave me a blowjob. Oh my God, come on, man. There's always that one line that ruins it for them. Yeah, I did this somewhat impressive thing that's completely plausible, and then Obama came out of my closet and gave me a high five. Just because I look like a model doesn't mean I want to be constantly hit on. Paige and I are at a club, and I've got guys throwing their numbers at me. Can't I just have a drink without getting hit on by 30 guys? Some guys are leaving their girlfriends to come and try and talk to me. One guy offers me a modeling contract. One guy says he's an acting agent and wants to sign me. This happens everywhere I go. Sure, honey. Imagine how it'll be when I'm famous. If I can't even go to Starbucks without 15 guys hitting on me, when I'm famous, it'll be a lot worse. I was driving and came to a stoplight and 6 guys hit on me. This is why customer service is the perfect job for me right now. No one can see me. They talk to me normal. I was standing on the bus back from uni and the driver suddenly braked really hard and this girl flew across the bus and somehow I caught her. And without thinking I said, "I think you just fell for me." And I crap you not, the entire bus applauded me. Why is there always an applause? That never happens. On my way home from work, I ride my bicycle and was sweaty and dirty. I had a date that night and stopped at a high-end clothes store to pick up some new pants and a shirt. The staff all pretty much ignored me, which is fine with me. I know they work on commission. I purchased close to $1,000 and the manager asked how my experience was. I told him that I wasn't greeted, nobody asked if I needed assistance, and was pretty much shunned. He apologized and asked me to wait at the register. He walked out on the floor and fired every single uppity employee. He offered me a discount or a gift certificate. I thanked and told him I would be back with more friends. I don't believe this story, but it reflects poorly on you. What kind of a person would be psyched to get multiple people fired because the salesperson didn't pay enough attention? Fired employees? You mean at worst they got moved to a different store or shift time? No way is one customer's bad experience going to make a manager fire their entire store's worth of staff. LOL at you for thinking it was anything but show. My 11-year-old daughter said, "Why didn't the Democrats allow an open and transparent audit of the 5 contested areas? It would have ended all the controversy." My 14-year-old son said, "Because it would have exposed the fraud." I just love my kids. Me too. I love fantasy. I was high with a bodybuilder friend once and talked about how it was kind of messed up that we eat other animals' muscles to grow our own. He went vegan after that and said, "Never again. Those are their gains, bro, not mine." Bro. Bill Gates is a proven sociopath and psychopath. In the late 1970s and early 80s, I went to a few outdoor campus parties at Harvard. While there, I noticed Bill Gates. Those who I was with warned me not to socialize with him. More perks of being best friends with the son of a Russian mafia boss. The best part of owning a Chick-fil-A is free food whenever you want. Bruh, what? Today Amazon just mistakenly gave me a PS5 LMAO. I kinda feel bad, but there was no address on it to return it. Literally just a box. If you're missing a PS5, let me know in the comments and I'll give it back to you. Sure you will. While helping my daughter with World War II homework, she asked when they'd learn about Captain America and Hydra, or the box Indiana Jones found that melts people, because that's when things'll get cool. I can't decide if this means I'm failing as a father or absolutely crushing it. The only crushing that needs to be going on is of your balls, good sir. I'm 6'3" and I wear a cowboy hat, boots, and a full-length duster everywhere I go. And so far, everyone seems too intimidated to ask me to put on a mask. Took an IQ test. I scored a 141. Maybe next time I'll score higher. That's not really bad at all. My IQ is really good. Lol. Honestly, it's just a measurement of how well and fast you learn. Mine's 182. Wow, your IQ is higher than Einstein's was. Einstein only had an IQ of 160 to 170. I interviewed a candidate through Skype last week. During the call, I heard the sound of inmates in the background. "Are you in prison?" I asked. Mind you, we have a strict policy on felonies. "Yes, and my kids are in the background. I hope that's okay." He thought I would dismiss him for having smuggled a Raspberry Pi and webcam into a maximum security facility. On the contrary, I admired his resourcefulness. I hired him on the spot and then immediately rescinded my offer. I like to keep candidates on their toes. He did well. After the interview, I told him that I wasn't impressed with his rap sheet because I'd already lived it. Nor was I impressed with how he presented himself. He burst into tears. My fault, B. I felt bad. I told him that he was actually beginning to look familiar. As he dried his tears, I remembered an old adage. Real recognize real. This was our guy. I changed my mind again and gave him the contract. He couldn't believe it because he thought I was going to leave the call. Dead ass? He asked in disbelief. I chortled, realizing what a good thing I'd done. Smiling, I told him, dead ass, my friend. Dead ass. A little girl wanted to know what the States looked like. Her dad tore a map of the USA from a magazine and then cut it into small pieces. He told her to go to her room and see if she can put it together. After some minutes, she returned and handed the map correctly fitted and taped together. The dad was surprised and asked how she had finished so quickly. She said on the other side was a picture of Jesus, and when I put him back, that our country just came together. When did you realize that teacher you loved was actually an ass? I had a sub-teacher last week in my 8th grade bio class who kept trying to make me do my work. I don't do homework. Kept bugging me about it, so I kicked the crap out of him. Right, I'm sure you definitely did. My kid is smarter than me. My 10-year-old daughter just said to me, if I had a boyfriend and I got engaged to my boyfriend and he treated me the way mommy treats you, I wouldn't marry him. At least she'll never live like this. Wow, it sounds like there's way more going on that you need to confront. My coworker's ex beat her up till he broke her rib cages and popped a vessel in her eye. So now, every time her current boyfriend sees him, it's on sight, and he whoops his ass every time to remind him how it feels. She said he's beat him up on 4 separate occasions. We stan a king. Oh boy, it starts with shooting. I won a knife fight and survived. No ambulance. Didn't even have a knife. Kid was a freaking moron pussy though. I ducked under when he slashed at me and he got me across the shoulder blades. Huh? Double leg takedown and he landed on the back of his head. The end. I had certainly antagonized him enough to sorta deserve it, so I cleaned out my cut and butterfly bandaged it and called it a day. It's a pretty wicked scar though. Looks like a sword got me since it never got stitched up right. Right. I just went to a McDonald's and there was no McFish on the menu. What the hell happened? Is it permanently banned, or is it just my local McDonald's? I demanded to see the manager, but they accused me of being a male Karen, so I walked out. What the hell is a McFish? And furthermore, if the McFish had ever been on the menu and they took it away, I don't think anybody in that restaurant made that decision. Usually it comes from higher up, so you screaming at the teenagers working behind the counter isn't really gonna help your fucking case anyway, my guy. So this one time in 8th grade, I was walking home and some of the popular girls came up to me and pushed me into a puddle and told me to go have sex with my boyfriend. And this girl says, wait guys, she doesn't even have one. And Try all laughed at me until the most popular guy in school came up to me and said, wait, did we break up? I sure hope not, and kissed me. And I had no clue what he was doing, but yeah, we just got married. Thinking about a divorce in a couple years, you know. I usually just go to the doc when I'm really sick. I tell them what's wrong, what meds I need, what doses, and for how long, and they just look at me like, huh, this guy's freaking insane. That's not at all how this works. Just pissed off a TSA chick because I was taking off all my metal stuff. So my belt, my 2 cuffs, my waist chain, my necklace, my boots, and my jacket. And the TSA girl just goes, wow, kid, you have quite a bit of metal stuff. And I looked this straight in the face and said, I'm more metal than you will ever begin to understand, you nerd. I'm at school writing this and something crazy just happened. So I was listening to this during social studies, you know, just doing my own thing, and I noticed the Fat Rat uploaded a new song, so I thought, why the hell not? He's one of my favorite musicians after all. I must have been playing it for like a minute, and then someone shook my shoulder and gestured for me to take my earbuds off. He was telling me everyone in the class could hear the music because my earbuds weren't fully inside my phone. I looked at the entire room and everybody was just rocking their heads to the music. My mind went blank and I must have been blushing super hard. Haha, I've never been so embarrassed but so happy at the same time. When I stopped the music, they just told me to keep playing it until the end. LMAO. Feels good, man. Lady behind me at the store. Excuse me, I can see your nipples through your shirt. That's so inappropriate. Me? What's inappropriate is the fact that I can smell your breath through my mask and yours. 6 feet? No pressure, Karen. She deserved it. Everyone has nipples. Her. I'm going to tell your manager. Me, a black woman. Oh, you're racist too? Oh, for God's sake. Why do you people always pull the race card? Manager walks up. She obviously stops him. This employee is a disgrace to your company. Look at her nipples, to put it short. Looks at me, then at her, then gives me the look of confirmation. Ma'am, this is a Walmart, and she doesn't even work here. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. Her makes a scene and is escorted out by security. The best part is, her name was Carol. Why is that the best part? I got my entire workplace to see the truth. One of the older coworker ladies gave me this mask with kittens on it, and she said that she found it online after I told her that I loved cats. I then ripped it up in front of her stunned face and gave a speech on how COVID was fake and made up by Fauci, and docs have to have a job. The entire office clapped, and now everyone's wanting to learn more about the truth. Even my manager gave me a promotion. Whatever makes you feel better, sweetie. This happened once. In first grade, the entire class, including teachers, got a different answer, but I got one more. So everyone was like, no, it's blank. And then I went up to the whiteboard, showed them my answer, and outsmarted the teachers. The driver got arrested 5 times by the police because of the painting. I'm sure he did. I became a professor at age 25 to experience those fantasies. One of my students was hot, so I hinted at her for extra credit. The next day, she came to my office and we had sex. Still gave her an F in the class though. What did you learn at school today? Restorative justice is sort of like when you knock someone's block tower down. You don't just apologize and walk away. Restorative justice means you help them rebuild it. Ah yes, the 5-year-old kindergartner said that. I've delivered food for a long time. 15 years. Definitely hooked up with a lot of wives. Sometimes been caught. Guys get real sensitive when they hear a hung white man making their wife moan loud. Oh well, I get mine. Yeah, then you wake up. Oh god. I DM'd a celebrity about a sex dream I had about him. I wasn't even expecting a reply, but we ended up adding each other. Now, I don't know how to talk to him without looking desperate, but he follows this page. So if you see this, snap me. Or not, it's cool. Buying tampons. Cashier, would you like a bag? Me? No thank you. There's a very sketchy guy outside and I want him to know that I'm not the person to be messed with today. Cashier legitimately scream laughed. See, that's more plausible. My son came home from school today and told me that his classmates were making fun of him for being conservative and straight. In fact, one kid's parents told him he was gay, so he went around saying that and punched my son when he said he was straight. WTF? Oh my god, straight people wish they were oppressed so bad, and it's so funny. I talked to my liberal neighbor tonight about the 2020 elections. She said it's a hard decision on who to vote for. I said, no, it's not. It's either Trump or socialism. Her jaw dropped. She said she never looked at it that way. It's that simple, folks. Trump or socialism. Just catch me sitting here, waiting for the socialism to start. Any day now. A friend of mine told me her teacher was having sex while explaining the subject of the class. The camera was off, but they could hear him going in and out of breath, and even the girls moaning. He ended up saying, oh god, hold on guys, give me a little break, and muted his microphone. 5 minutes later, he came back, way more relaxed and laughing. God, this is the worst sub ever. My 3-year-old daughter comes up to me and says, give away the stone, let the waters kiss and transmutate. I looked at her and said, these laden grudges into gold. She then stated that Tool is the best band ever, and that I was the best dad ever. I think I won today. I worked for Tool once. They're alright. So my 14-year-old told me you can't catch a virus as they taught her at school for a whole term just before this scam. She got A. She said people are truly stupid. God, these are so hard to read. Learn to write! Oh god, this is gonna be a nightmare to read. Bear with me, folks. I don't know, man. Had some liberals for furniture movers and they refused service to my family cause we were simply white. Is that a type of bread? They even said it as they left before they could build our furniture that we paid for them to build. And the manager had to get on them twice and then fired them and had to send brand new people to get crap done. Well, welcome to r/thathappened. So today my AP art history teacher was teaching us about the only female pharaoh. And he was like, have you seen women? They can pop out a baby and be like, all right, let's go. And then he walked over to this guy and aimed his fists towards his balls and the guy flinched and held his crotch. And he was like, men may be stronger, but women are tougher. And then he said, so when someone tells you to grow a pair, they mean ovaries. Huh, I'm gonna get that tattooed on my butt. I caught my kid stealing something in a store, so I made him personally apologize to the owner of the store and told him he would work for 3 months without pay. Teacher tried to suspend me for writing a book and knowing the author's reasons. I wrote a small novel and published it. My town has a small publisher. One day in school, we had to read it, 1 to 200 pages, and keep track of small details to discuss, and one thing was the reason the main character was wearing a fedora. It's because it means they are sad that their friend died. When the teacher said this, I corrected her, and she said, "How do you know?" And I said, "Look who wrote the book. They tried to suspend me." Sure.
Feeling beyond lucky right now. Got to my store expecting queues, it was dead. They only got one in stock and I managed to get it. All staff came out to congratulate me.
No, they wouldn't have. No one cares except you.
My life has reached a new level of awkward. I was singing, yelling robbers by the 1975 obviously, and the neighbors called the cops saying that someone was in their house screaming about a gun. I can't! Neither can we! Believe you. So awesome. Like a year ago, I was parked in a parking lot and a gentleman came up to me telling me how he was on hard times and loved the saying on my truck and did not have a penny to his name. After talking for 30 minutes, I gave him $20. A year later, I'm in the same parking lot and he comes up to me and says, "Do you remember me?" I said, "I do." He said, "Here's that $20 you gave me. My life is going in the right direction. Thank you for helping me that day." Oh my gosh, wow, a totally legit story that definitely doesn't sound like it was copied off the last person from the H&M store. True. When I was 11, I had to do a magic grid for maths homework. I spent 2 hours solving the bugger, only to go to school and have the teacher tell us it was impossible. And if you think you got the answer, you don't. I timidly put my hand up and made her look a fool as I dismantled her maths and teaching degree with my barely out of primary school education. Don't mean to brag, but when you've not achieved a lot, you wait for moments like this. So the one time I went into that impressive Pee-Pee's restaurant where everyone is mean, well, let's just say they never have met anyone like me. You can read the ego. Waiter, so who are you all with?
Our teacher, she is our model coach.
Well, isn't she too ugly to be modeling? Ooh, nice burn. Well, at least I don't look like a raccoon slaving away in a business who underpays you to take others' orders while the higher-ups are making millions. I'm incredible, yes. Anyway, let's just say after, we had a long talk about what he wanted to do in his future. I sat in a courtroom and watched as two detectives lied their faces off. When the prosecutor found out that the reliable informant that these two detectives had used to set me and my co-defendant had flipped and was now going to testify for the defense. The charges were dropped, and as far as I know, nothing was done to the two detectives. A couple of weeks later, I did get a good one off on one of them. I entered a pool hall and one of the detectives was inside talking to one of the customers. I bought a Coke and sat at the counter watching a game when the detective walked by on his way out. A step or two past me, he stopped, turned and said to me, "I'll be watching you." My reply, "You're not lying to me now, are you?" The place erupted in loud laughter. Everyone approved of me. I'm approved of. I mean something to this world. I live in Italy since 2010 and I use the spoon and or cut the noodles just to tick off bratty and snobby Italians which stick their noses in other people's business. Once I was on a date in a nice restaurant and started joking with the girl, not Italian, about Italian arrogance. She didn't get the joke, so I had to demonstrate. Oh, purposely being an a-hole in public, that'll impress her. Started to cut up half the noodles and for the rest I used a spoon to roll them on a fork. As soon as I started, the people started gasping and whispering in disgust. One guy even started arguing with me about how I should take my manners seriously, otherwise I should go back where I came from. I just started laughing out loud and said to him, "Where I come from, we eat people like you for dessert," and advised him politely to go back to his meal and mind his own business. Luckily, the girl was also a person of culture and appreciated the trolling. I'm sure she did, mate. Yeah. See, I'm looking for a partner who enables my problematic behavior. Actual unsolicited conversation while I was waiting for the light to turn green in the city today. Old person. Hey, you have a nose ring. Yes. And a tattoo on your knee. Also yes. Now this next part I like to imagine he's reading from a script that she's given him. Don't you think it's unrespectful to your parents that gave such an amazing life gift to mutilate your body like that? Do you have children? Oh yes, 2 girls. Awesome. Congratulations. Did you get your daughters to get their ears pierced when they were born? Oh, absolutely. They each got earrings with their birthstones before they were 1 year old. Don't you think it's breaking their freedom of choice over their body to get their ears pierced before they are even able to give consent? Oh, alright, that's where you're going with this. That's what I thought. Have a good day. I got a job because I put freestyle rapping on my resume. So I put freestyle rapping in my skills on my resume and forgot I put it there. Got a call for a $55K a year job, and in my interview they asked me to freestyle and had an the freaking M&M start being ready to go, like they were waiting all day for this stuff. Well, I freaking killed the bars. I spit like 10 verses off the top related to getting the job in the place and then they offered me the job on the spot. Wow, that was actually really good. Well done. Are you giving me the job? I don't know. You kidding me? You need at least 70 more years of experience.
And now some legitimately respectful comments on referees.
And honestly, some refs just need their butt kicked, so maybe they taught this ref a lesson. Refs really should watch who they throw out. I was by no means a thug, but I beat the hell out of 6 refs as a freshman and played the rest of my time, never to be penalized again. Maybe you should have hit 1 or 2 more.
Wait, I am by no means a thug, but I physically assaulted 6 people. Once this girl in Miran was trying to overtake me at a U-turn, but I did not let her, so she ran around 6 or 7 cars, took the U-turn at full throttle, stopped on the other side of the road, got out, clapped at me, got in the car again and drove away. Legend earned my respect, not gonna lie.
No, I think you just did.
The audacity of the rich. I'm a nomadic anarchist, but others would call me homeless. I'm an artisan chef at one of the most leading health food industries on the planet.
You make sandwiches at Subway.
I got an infection and needed antibiotics. It cost $35 freaking or I'd lose my arm. I tried to panhandle a guy with a Ferrari. The fricker spit on my bloody bandages and told me to get a job. I understand I do this by choice, but most homeless are not by choice. I seriously wanted to throw a brick through the dude's windshield. I restrained myself. But I can't believe the audacity of these rich flippers sometimes. Yes, how dare these people disrespect these people that you are disrespecting by voluntarily living their lifestyle and thus taking advantage of all the services that are on offer for them. So when I was like 16, my parents came and woke me up in the middle of the night. They started going off on me about how they just got a phone call, again in the middle of the night, from a very irate individual accusing that I had gotten his daughter pregnant. After about 3 agonizingly long minutes where I was growing increasingly anxious, my sleep-addled mind finally caught up to the situation. I stopped my parents mid-verbal assault and said, "Wait a minute, you have to have sex to get someone pregnant. We're good. It's not me." If you just want to say it like that, okay. Both of my parents stood there, silent. A brief moment as realization set in, followed by a robust round of equally humiliating laughter. It was obviously a prank call, but we never did figure out from whom. Today I freaked up by having my dad showing my family my own sex tape. Oh, TLDR, don't have that without curtains. You never know who is watching you. This is the first story I write on Reddit, and it will forever haunt me, I guess. Really, you're not certain if you're traumatized by this, okay. So yesterday I went to my girlfriend's house. She lives in a high-rise building with those huge windows with really nice view on other buildings in the region. She made me dinner with some good wine, and we proceeded to watch a nice movie and have amazing kinky times. She just moved in the apartment, so she didn't have any curtains up, but had those nice red LED lights to set up the mood, if you know what I mean. Can't afford curtains, but can afford LED lights all over the room. Sure, okay. The wine made it so we didn't bother if someone was watching from the neighboring buildings, and according to my girlfriend, the windows were somehow tinted. Anyway, we finish everything. Pretty amazing night, not gonna lie. And I head back home since I had a family lunch early the next day. We get to lunch and the boys in the family were sitting together. My dad gets up to tell his amazing story he had last night. My parents were invited for dinner at their friend's house, and he talks about how during the whole dinner, there was a couple getting it on in the building in front of them. This confused me in the beginning and started to have a mini panic attack thinking about how this could be me, but I kept reassuring myself that the windows were tinted. My dad proceeds to show us a video that he took, and here I am performing at my best in front of everyone. Fortunately, you can't really tell that it's me in the video. I did not say a single word the whole lunch, utterly shocked, and here I am writing this and still didn't open my mouth since. He then sent it to his friends, work friends, heck, even the gardener saw the video. Hey Siri, turn "I felt good about getting laid the other night" into a BS story. Grabbed lunch with a buddy. Guy sits down across bar, loudmouth doobie doobie doo. Flirting with hot bartender about his Colombia trip, and he only likes the purest blow. Says to us, "You guys know what I mean." My buddy pulls his creds and says, yeah, after 30 years with DEA I do. Then silence. Well, hey, it's more of an original ending than everyone clapping. Was walking a 5 and 7-year-old to school, watched a red-tailed hawk snatch a squirrel from the sidewalk in front of us and slam it into someone's garage door. Neighbor was outside. We adults were in shock, and the 7-year-old starts singing The Circle of Life from The Lion King.
Everyone lost it!
I know for a fact I've told this story on here before, but I'll never get over the time when I was working retail and I was cashing out some lady, so I asked, cash, debit, or credit, how are you paying, ma'am? And she said, that's none of your business, and demanded to speak to my manager about my invasive question. But look, a challenger approaches. Oh, I've got one in this vein. A lady called our company wanting us to come steam clean her tile floors, but refused to give her address, instead demanding that we do it at our location, and hung up when I tried to explain that her floors were attached to her house. Let that sink in for a second. Yeah, really, you let it sink in and you realize just how desperate you are for people to just find you entertaining and funny.
Jack, put the mirror down, buddy.
Sorry, just get lost in thought. Teacher. Remember, guys, the essay on the Mongols is due tomorrow, so get on it. What if I have a hot date? Chuckles to his buddies. Use your other hand. Turns around to the board. I swear to God, the entire class flipped its poo-poo. No one would expect a teacher to make a masturbation joke in class. So while the entire class was rioting, Andrew's face was beet red. It took the entire period to calm down. People were yelling and screaming like maniacs. Andrew, you just got freaking holy schmack, Andrew, you got roasted.
Someone contact a burn warrant!
Andrew.
Mr. Burns, you're a savage!
Even the English class next to us came over to find out the freaking riot that was going on. Andrew has never talked back to any teacher ever since. I have a newfound respect for my history teacher. Not gonna lie, I was kind of expecting the teacher to be a hot date. I'm gonna give this a 0 out of 10 for creativity. You could have gone so much further with this, man. When I was somewhere between 7 and 9, I learned how to fart on demand by inhaling air up my butt. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. It took some technique, but I could do it indefinitely. Word got around at the school, and one day I was cornered by around 15 kids demanding to know how I did it. That is how the teacher caught 16 kids lying down with their legs in the air doing gas training. People who manage to continue the story of their dream after they fall back asleep. Ah, a god. I've been in a dream, looked at my buddy and told him I'd be right back because I had to pee. Wake up, take a pee, fall back to sleep and greet him and continue my dream multiple times. Is like Facebook the only place you can ever find validation for yourself? Yes, it is. Kid leading cue stinks of weed. Karen behind him starts to throw digs.
Can't get people who do drugs. Each to their own and all that, but it just makes no sense to me. Yeah, one of those, please. Yep, red, thank you.
All I need is a bottle of wine and I'm happy. Me behind. Alcohol is a drug. Karen's confused, speechless, and pointing at the bottle like she's just met the Dalai Lama. Oh, so it is. I suppose we all have our graces. No, lie. If she was a Karen, she would not react so maturely. Walking through Walmart past the Valentine's Day stuff, I overhear some girls complaining they want someone to buy them chocolate. As I walk past, one goes, him and his tattoos can buy me chocolate. To which I casually replied, my wife gets chocolates, roses, pretzels, and last Valentine's Day I gave her a baby. Needless to say, she apologized profusely, and I heard her friends teasing her the whole time I walked away. If you encounter wine snobs, confuse them by using this move. Yes, I can hear the sedimental timbres of the oakwood scent. So I told my mom about this post before she and my dad went on a trip to Napa, and she was delighted to try this out. No, she wasn't. And apparently, when she straight-faced, lifted her glass of Chardonnay to her ear and swirled it, she baffled the other winery goers so much that they all instinctively did the same thing. That sort of crowd thing that you aren't quite sure what's right, but you'll be damned if you're mistaken for the what? The plebeian that you are. I'm not gonna lie, I totally thought it said lesbian. But watching that was enough for my mum to lose her composure. Laughed so hard she cried and spilled the entire glass all over herself, in the process getting kicked out of the winery. So long story short, do this at your own risk.
I hope the country does go apocalyptic. I've been training for this for a whole year now. Can jog 10 miles with a backpack full of bricks, and I mastered urban warfare and Vietnam warfare. Can build some pretty nasty traps and bombs. You mastered Vietnam warfare? When you get a Lyft ride pop up on the app, the guy and your ex-girlfriend jumps in, then she apologizes and talks about the good times you had, and you can hear the dude huffing and puffing and breathing hard because he mad. Very awkward. Secondly, I sit there laughing when they get out because I don't play second fiddle in the orchestra and I don't go back. As I drive off, they start fighting. Just like, wow! And everybody clapped. Y'all, I have never approved of my children cussing, but tonight I high-fived my 4-year-old for doing so. In the middle of self-checkout at Walmart, my girls were saying the Pledge of Allegiance and singing God Bless America. The man across from me demanded my children stop singing that because he was offended. After a few choice words, I said my children can sing that song as loud and proud as they wanted. Then, my 4-year-old proceeded to say, "Yeah, a-hole," as she placed her hand over her heart and sang louder. Needless to say, he walked out as a few people clapped for my 4-year-old. Hashtag that's my girl. Hashtag loud and proud to be an American. Yep, there's the clapping bit. There's always an applause with these people. I just had the weirdest experience in Among Us. What happened? I went into a lobby and 2 people there already knew who I was even though I've never played with them before. They said I had gained some kind of infamy on Among Us and they gave me compliments. One of them was even riding the line between a stan and a simp. I think my unorthodox methods of gameplay and news of my big brain is spread across the community, and I accidentally developed a small mini fandom inside of it. What? Right. My mother once told me that a friend of hers was sunbathing with butter. Needless to say, ants loved it and laid eggs in her pores. Had to go to the hospital, pouring ants out of everywhere. Wonder what that smelled like. What? Are you high? Not a lib, but just sharing my art. I made this in 2010 for the love of shrooms. Strange that this image was copyrighted back in 2009. You time travel in your UFO, or are you just like lying for attention? Wait, you really think someone would just do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies? What was the most satisfying display of instant karma that you've ever seen? My older sister, my daughter, and I stopped at a Denny's for breakfast. They had a claw machine there. My daughter, age 7, was so excited. We gave her 2 quarters to play and she just went up. 2 college-age jerks cut her off and deliberately rushed up to it. My daughter had seen a stuffed bumblebee in there and had said she was going to get it. Those 2 jerks spent $10 trying to get it until they gave up. My daughter just stood there with tears in her eyes the entire time. My sister said to not worry, that those disgusting excuses for men were not going to get anything. They didn't. After giving up and sitting back down with smirks on their faces, my 7-year-old put in her 2 quarters and got the bumblebee in 1 try. By that point, the entire restaurant was watching and they roared with laughter. She still has that thing now and it sits on her desk at college. Oh, they didn't clap though. They laughed this time. Parents, remember, we don't believe any story you say about your children when they are very young. You always make it seem like they're mega geniuses. No, they're not. They're stupid like every other kid at that age. Waitress, ice cream for the birthday girl, but unfortunately we can't sing and such right now with COVID. That's okay, I'll take care of it. Oh, please no. Everybody, happy birthday! Proceeds to get the entire restaurant singing. Girl at the table behind us, why can't I have a boyfriend like that? What did I do wrong in life? Oh, really? The only thing that pisses me off about this one is that font. What is wrong with you? Yesterday, me at Costco with no mask on. Me, walking around living my best life. Employee, excuse me, ma'am. Ugh. Hi, pulls his mask down. I wanted to thank you for not wearing a mask. Taken back. I really appreciate you going maskless. It's very brave of you to stand up for your rights. Please keep up the fight. Thank you. Freedom is taken for granted. We had to fight for it, and apparently we're going to have to fight even harder to keep it. I'm more than willing to do my part. Air high five. Now when I leave the house, I'm gonna wear a cape because I'm kinda seen as a superhero. No, you're kinda seen as a super spreader. Also, you can't fool us. We know Costco does not take that Story time! Oh boy, more stories. The day is Saturday morning in a Starbucks filled with half-asleep teenagers and nobody else. It's only about 10 people. I order my coffee, and for the sheer impulse of it, I placed my name in as Brown Bear, what do you see? The woman looks at me like I'm a sociopath. Wrong word, but writes it down anyways. A few minutes go by, and I get my name called. Once she says my name about 5 times later, the entire Starbucks just screams, all, except for one person on a laptop. They didn't know the joke. They look up in literal terror, face pale, they grab their coffee and laptop and bolt out the door. I love memes so much. Memes? Also, really? Really? You think that's gonna make someone bolt out the freaking door? Jeez, you guys really need to learn character development and character writing. This morning I was explaining what I do for BTS and why to my partner's dad, and he goes, oh, so you're fighting systemic racism through music. And that hasn't left me yet. This is a conversation someone posted in another group, which I thought you might like to read as it made me smile. Shared with permission. Kids in question are young teens and are a mix of Indian and Caucasian heritage. Kids playing chess. Kid 1. Remember, the queen always goes on her own color. Kid 2. Why do you say her? The queen might be a boy or non-binary. You're right. Anyway, your go. You're white, so you go first. I feel really uncomfortable with the idea that white goes before black. That feels racist to me. Yes, but it would be just as bad to say black should always go first. Let's call the colors chocolate and cream instead. Good idea. And the queen can be the slightly smaller ruler, whereas the king can be a slightly larger ruler. Okay, let's play. What? The hell did I just read? Other parents, how'd you do that? Me? Do what? Your teenager's eating a salad. I never forced him to eat. Now he'll pretty much eat anything except chicken casserole, which we both agree is gross. We don't get it. Our only rules are, go to bed at 11 on a school night and don't hack any important government agencies. You don't restrict screen time. You know, 95% of kids will self-regulate given the chance. That's not true. Have you tried it? But now he's reading 1984. He's had a university reading level since he was 12. What am I going to do, censor his reading material? What if he reads something you don't approve of? I fail to see your reasoning. You know he cooks too. It's our mother-son time. We talk about his friends. He talks? I went through something similar in college. Teacher thought I was just a typical former high school idiot, and when I challenged him, he said, "You think you're so smart, you can teach the class." I picked up his planner and continued teaching the class for the remainder of the quarter. I had an 88% pass rate for my students. I also received the only ever perfect score for that class. I think the best the teacher ever got was a 70 or 72% pass rate. He bought all my books for the next quarter as a thank you gesture. The course was DC Electronics 102, and the teacher had no idea I'd been doing that since I was 8 years old. Sure, right. Did you just watch Good Will Hunting, you freaking nerd? Where the hell are these guys when you actually need them to use their 10 billion IQ for something that can help humanity, like solving the energy crisis? Oh, it's because they're bullshit. What made the popular kid popular in your school? Ex-popular kid here. Someone pantsed me in the locker rooms, and let's just say when people see a monster cock, word spreads fast. My man's went for it. He went with the I have a giant ding dong one. Dude, that is ballsy. What made the popular kid popular in your school? I have a big penis. So, story time. I almost always brew my own coffee, but today I had to stop by Blank's to get it. I order my strong cup of black coffee, and the cute early 20s barista says, "Is this for you?" So I'm like, "Yeah, why?" Then the sweet thing blushes and says, "That's so hot. Normally all the females that come through get expensive sissy drinks with 15 ingredients, but a woman who drinks her coffee black is a real woman." Then he asked me if I'm single. I could be his mama. He said he's 20. So yeah, fellas, get y'all a lady who drinks her coffee black. I'm a rare breed. Oh, honey, you think you quirky. In reality, you probably just lactose intolerant. Last night, I overheard my 20-year-old son say to his dad, "Consent isn't cool." And I jumped on him before he could finish. "Consent isn't cool?" "No," he said, looking at me incredulously. "Consent is baseline. Consent is the bare minimum," he said, laughing at me and walking away. Okay. What screams I am an undercover police officer? I had my 15-year-old son with me and stopped at the liquor store. My son stayed in the pickup. It was summer, so the windows were down. I exited the liquor store and walked to my pickup when this man walks over and says, "Excuse me, do you know where I can get some of those illegal drugs?" No, I don't know anything about illegal drugs. I'm a drinker. That's why I'm at the liquor store. With that, I got in my pickup and we left. My son turned to me and asked, "Why would he ask you if you knew where to get illegal drugs?" Undercover cop, son. If something doesn't seem right, if it don't feel right, it's not right. Always trust your gut feelings, son. Have you ever heard a normal person ask where to buy illegal drugs? I'd like to congratulate drugs for winning the war on drugs because of people like that. So tell me why I accessed the dark web on accident and I went into this random chat room and asked for $100,000 as a joke, and then 30 minutes later I get an email with an ad and a picture of me saying 17-year-old African American for sale, $33,500. Then I click the link for the ad and now my computer screen is white and I don't know what to do. Should I call the police? Right. That's definitely how the dark web works. I feel like the best use case for the dark/deep web is just going in there to get prescriptions at a price that makes sense. I'd made it through the initial interview with the HR director. It was time to meet with her and the president of the company. We sat at a large conference table and he immediately began drilling me with questions about my approach to copywriting and my philosophy of marketing, stopping to ask why I'd made certain decisions as he flipped through my portfolio. I jumped in eagerly backing my work and talking strategy with the passion of a Pentecostal preacher. Eventually, the HR director piped in. "What would be your biggest concern about this position?" "Dave," I said without missing a beat. The president's head whipped up. "Me?" "Yes," I said. "My goal is to stop being a workaholic. I've worked with a number of entrepreneurs and I know the type of environment that can create. I need work-life balance." For the rest of the interview, they tried to convince me Dave wasn't that kind of leader. The HR director called me the same day to make a job offer. Later, she said Dave was blown away by me. It was the part where you said he was the problem. No one talks to him like that, especially in an interview. All right, first off, what's your name? Hired. What, can he do that? For the first time in 5 years, I bumped into my ex at ShopRite today. He asked me a question that shocked me. "Miss or Mrs.?" I replied, "Doctor." He dragged me to a corner and started crying. I'm confused. The weirdest lesson you ever had at school. A class on drugs in which I had to correct a teacher a lot and then got offered to take over in that classic "why don't you teach the class" scenario, so I did. And I did awesome explaining how come downs work using a diagram on the board and explaining how it can correlate with tolerance and addiction before being told to sit back down. So what you're saying is, you're a druggie. My mom, eating her food halfway with her mask down, obviously. Random safe distancing ambassador. "Ma'am, why are you not wearing your mask?" "Put it on." My mom, "I'm eating." Rolls eyes. "Put it on." "Can't you see my mom's eating? Why would you walk all the way into a restaurant to find people who are obviously taking off their mask to eat and yell at them? People laugh, him, ... I'm a feminist, but, oh boy. When walking past a boys' secondary school today, one of the boys called for me to throw their football back over the very high fence. I responded, "There's no way I can get it over that fence." To which he responded, "But feminism, miss, use your girl power." 60 teenage boys then gathered on the other side of the fence shouting encouragement and chanting, "Feminism, suffragettes," while I repeatedly attempted to throw the ball, then cheered and applauded when I succeeded. The kids are all right. Why were they shouting suffragettes? Why would they ever do that? My grandma hates me. A rant. Yesterday I told my grandmother that I could code and she stared at me for a minute and asked my mom if they could talk. A few days ago, me being a curious and idiotic teenager, I'd gone up and wired up the house with microphones so I would be able to listen to anything anybody said. I heard my grandma yelling at my mom, telling her that men don't like smart girls and to stop her from learning too much, so that I could have a good marriage with a good man. She then said, "That girl is already black. It'll be very hard to find her a groom." I shut off my devices after that comment. Why? Why can't a girl be smart and have her own identity? I hate my grandma. Edit. Yes, I'm Indian. Edit 2. My family knows I wired up the house, and I keep the microphones off most of the time and usually only listen in my brother's room. That too, because he got a girlfriend and I'm afraid he'll blow it because he's a huge dork who doesn't know anything about girls. That's weird. Come on.
I'm a Powerball winner of 950.5. I'm using this medium to appreciate the society by giving out 50k to the poor and needy that like or follow. And then they all clapped. Who did? All of your friends. Well, I don't hear any. Exactly. Just experienced LA to its fullest. A girl ate a habanero pepper and panicked, and someone offered her a glass of milk, and she paused mid-freakout and goes,
Do you have almond milk?
Haha, it's true because girls' diet choice make her stupid. Meanwhile, in Parents Against Vaccination, the true fight.
I was out shopping with my 2 children, both unvaccinated, and I overheard a conversation between 2 couples about how foolish anti-vaxxers are. I immediately turned around and joined in by informing them that vaccines are proven to cause autism, cancer, and increase the risk of homosexuality, and that they need to understand that the big pharma companies want money. Well, they didn't listen and eventually grew aggressive, and they threatened to call security if I didn't leave them alone. My son, who is only 2 by the way, never vaccinated, and he's proud. How can he... You don't know that, Mum. You don't know that he's proud. Walked up and said, if they want to die, let the government kill them. It's survival of the fittest after all.
Wait, the son said that! The 2-year-old son, okay.
They were both silent and had nothing more to say. I turned around and saw an old woman observing. She looked at me and just said, you raised them well. My husband died of cancer brought on by vaccinations. And she smiled. I smiled back and walked off. I've never been so proud of my boy.
Okay, I'm putting the BS button down, not because the story isn't true, because it's true. It definitely did happen. But it's likely a troll account. Like, there's no way someone would genuinely post this. 2-year-old son is not that literate. Also, props to the grandma for smiling about her husband passing away.
I went on my first date since COVID started last weekend. Refused to wear a mask despite her initial objections. Made her laugh, grabbed my date, and made out in front of a bunch of shocked maskers. It's all a big frickin' scam. Yeah, I bet they were shocked because she was trying to push herself away from you.
I don't need to wear a mask.
Oh, okay. Oh, what the hell are you doing?
Oh, what the hell? Hey, yeah, punch him again. That was funny.
My 3-year-old son, was wearing a Beatles shirt at a playgroup when another mum came up and asked condescendingly, do you even know who the Beatles are? He replied, yeah, John Lennon, Zing!
Good one.
See, this is why you can't trust your mum's advice with anything. I mean, like, how delusional are mothers if they think this actually happens?
Oh, Paula, I've been wanting to get some legitimate political advice.
I love when store owners tell me to put on a mask and I tell them no. They tell me to leave and I say no. I tell them to call the police on me if it's a problem. My favorite moment is when they pick up the phone and go, I'm calling. And I reply, okay, I'll be standing right here. I claimed Psalms 27:9. Hide not thy face far from me. To the cashier and they put the phone down. I smile and walk out after making my purchase. Start exercising not only your constitutional rights, but also using scripture in the real world. It's a dangerous combo. American flag and sword fighting with my boys in the bathroom. Is it true you stole a teacher's car in high school? Well, if you and 8 friends lift a Volkswagen Beetle and move it more than 10 feet without permission, turns out you've just stolen that car. Okay, that doesn't sound like it actually happened.
So, funny story, when my dad was in high school in the 70s, he took apart his high school principal's car in the parking lot and got the football team to help him carry the pieces onto the auditorium stage, where he reassembled it. Curtains go up for the weekly assembly, there's the car. The principal immediately knew who did it and basically told him that as long as he had the car reassembled and in working order back in the parking lot before the day was out, he wouldn't get in trouble. The principal got to drive home that night.
Oh boy, a double whammy of BS!
The only car you can disassemble and reassemble that fast is one made by Little Tykes. What the hell kind of school was this?
Charles Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters. I stopped off at a beer depot to get my final 12 packs. A few other people in line behind me. The guy behind the counter said, Merry Christmas. I put the packs down and said loud enough for all to hear, it's about time we said Merry Christmas again! Not in a snide voice, happy, chokes, holidays, fake puffs. It's Merry Christmas! They all laughed, and as I was walking out, everyone in the store wished everyone a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone! It happened, okay? Just wanting a little Christmas.
I don't wear a mask either. Excellent. I'm just gonna leave this gif and be on my way.
Not so fast, let me tell you a story.
Are you a mask hole? A couple followed me to my car, screaming and getting close. I asked them nicely to back off or they would regret. That's when my 120-pound dog growled out the open window. there was a puddle under her. They realize under the context of this writing, it implies that the dog had the puddle. The dog peed in your car. Let me guess what happens next. All your anti-masker comrades gathered around your car and clapped.
Wow! Nice job making your dog pee in your car.
We're your only friends. I partied last night. 350, no masks, no social distancing, and we intimidated out of the health department and did not let them in. At another party tonight. It is only mask wearers who are getting COVID. Ooh-wee, famous last words. Relatable. I was sleeping in a class next to principal's daughter, with principal sitting behind us supervising for no reason. In a history class, where a killer teacher taught us, asked, "What's the signs of Neolithic age?" Answered 12 of them correctly, the girl next to me perplexed. The principal laughed. The whole class got quiet. The teacher carries on teaching after elaborating to my answer. My secret, whatever she explained, got transferred into my lucid dream. How many mushrooms were you on in class today? Evidence definitely gone at this point, but my best comeback happened when my boyfriend and I went to a Halloween party. Part of his costume included sunglasses, so he kept them on all night, even inside. My ex showed up, and when we happened to run into each other, he said,
Only douchebags wear sunglasses indoors.
I replied, I guess I just have a thing for douchebags, and walked away. My friends applauded me, and even my ex came up and congratulated me later. Alright, moving on.
I concede defeat, and I do believe it was wrong for me to have dumped you because you were so self-absorbed. Today at the gym, idiot on treadmill running, masked. Run into him at the sinks in the bathroom as I was brushing my teeth, and I asked him and the other masked guy with him if they had the Rona. I'm calling him Dingleberry because I'm not biased in my beliefs on people. No, I don't know. I could. You wouldn't want me to be spreading it, right? I wouldn't care, man. You should have a mask on, but what if you have it? What if I do? We're not from the state we're in right now, so we think y'all are crazy. What's crazy is running on a treadmill with a mask on. They walked out not saying anything else. Obviously uncomfortable. I need to start recording my interactions. I have dozens a day. How does one's ego get boosted by seeing others clearly not enjoy their company? Like seriously, I know I used to always need people to like me. I couldn't stand people not finding me comfortable to be around. So what is their secret? Learned that fam is a new slang term on Imager. Used it on a random black guy in the neighborhood and we smoked a blunt together. He said, nice dog, he friendly. I told him, thanks fam, yeah, he's nice. Guy pulled out a blunt light up and asked if I wanted some. Told him sure, and we talked about an hour about video games, cars, and console vs PC gaming. It was a great time. Hey, here's an idea. Maybe it wasn't because you said fam, but because they're just a very social person. I don't think you really had as much control over the circumstances there as you'd like to think. I was at my first college party, met this girl, we went to a room, and while she was giving me a her best friend walks in, she shoves her off of me, and then she gives me one also. Best night ever! It could have been, if I didn't wake up. Meanwhile, turns out smart pandemic people are also made of BS. Told a guy on the train to wear a mask. Guy was like that, get the frick, no muzzle for me. You sheep are believing this pandemic, complete idiots. I warned you, mate, I replied, then ripped an absolutely honkin' fart and the whole train cheered. Kiss! Painting my son made with Dollar Tree canvas and the 50-cent crafter paint from Walmart. He made them when he was 5. He is 7 now. Wow, look at that work. We have Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and the Flying Spaghetti Monster. Oh, I love his relationship with God. Wow, a 9-year lie. What a commitment. Things my son says. At the shrine, me. Who do you want to light a candle for? What does lighting a candle mean? It's kinda like praying for someone. I want to light one for Jesus. Everyone prays to him, but not for him. Me. Jaw drops. Hashtag proud mummy. So what you're admitting is that you didn't pray for Jesus. Why not? Why don't you love Jesus, Mum? What's going on? An old lady on the street told me, you look sad. Let me do something about it. And whipped out this from her trunk and gave it to me for free. Wahoo! Whoa, shut up! Yeah, it's so totally happened. No, shut up. Police officers of Reddit, what was the silliest thing you've heard from someone trying to avoid a ticket for speeding? I'm not a cop, but I told them I was in a rush to frick his wife. I got body slammed and a DUI that night.
Are you freaking kidding me? I banged my elbow on my wall and immediately looked downwards to check how many hearts I was on. In real freaking life. I'm such a gamer. Oh, smack, word? I think that's what's going on with me. Some girls always mention how I have a lot of girls, but really, I don't even be like that. That much though, lol. Once I get a girlfriend, they all start hitting me up trying to talk to me, lol. That's how I had like 5 girlfriends at one time. See, I never get this logic. That is not something to brag about. That just sounds exhausting. Like, where is your life in between all of that? Where is your own time? Relationships aren't a gacha game. You're not meant to get as many as you can. It's not Pokemon. My physique is all the weaponry I need. I work out hard every day and have been for years. The other day, some young guy is in my backyard trying to steal my wheelbarrow. I stepped outside with no shirt on. Just stood there and stared at him. He simply slowly backed away to the gate, looking at me in pure terror and left. I moved to the gate and watched as he ran as fast as he could down the street. My guns are all the guns I need. Oh, shut up! I told my dad I have a date with a girl, and his first question was, does she love the Lord? And by the Lord, I mean Harry Styles. Bruce is out here asking the important questions. I'm screaming! Oh, this meme is so ugly. Oh, I used to have this friend who really thought he was an excellent driver. He had a Saturn SL2. He drove like a jerk everywhere. One day, he tells us he was driving on the highway and a Corvette passed him. He took offense and they proceeded to race for a few exits. He kept up no problem. He obviously impressed the Corvette owner because when they were done, he tipped his hat in respect. And so that's why you decide to put 4 hats in a meme. It's so dumb. Oh, it just hurts. Walmart experience tonight. Okay, well, honestly, if it's Walmart, this is probably true. This little girl, maybe 6 or 7, runs up to her mum nearby and says, Mummy, look at this cute jacket. May I please get it for winter? Mum looks at it, looks at her. I haven't had enough subscribers this month to get that. Puts it on the rack. Mind you, Mum has 4 handles of cheap vodka in her cart. They walk away. Little girl looks ultra sad. Ultra sad. I go over to the jacket and it was $26 and some change. So I buy it, give it to the little girl, and say Merry Christmas. Walk off. Sure enough, they are parked a few cars away. Mum comes up to me. How dare you embarrass me like that in front of my kid? I said, you might have more subscribers if you stopped drinking Taka vodka and took care of yourself. Have a good life. Hopped in the jalopy and drove off. Some people, man. Ha ha ha.
Them. Oh, I scrambled it so good this time. You'll never figure it out. Me. Man, why'd you scramble it so hard? Also me. Solves. Them. Pogface. Me. Wheeze. My Catholic school teacher played Doom Eternal in class to show us hell. What a legend. Right, okay. I mean, I fully believe that nuns would do something like that, but I'm gonna cast doubt here. Saw a kid try multiple times to swipe a magazine like an iPad, and I guess that's what it's like to feel old. Right. Oh my god, these people are insane. There's something about working at a Japanese bakery/tea place that always confuses me/cracks me up every time I think about it, and it's people being very confused about my ethnicity. Example, I explained some of our products to a very sweet old man. After answering his questions and chatting with me for a bit, he says, "You're very knowledgeable. I can tell you're Japanese." To what I answer, "I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not. You must be Korean then," he says. "Still not," I answer. "A Chinese, maybe?" "No, sir. I'm simply French. My dad has almond-shaped eyes, but we haven't figured out where it's from as of yet." LMAO, the poor grandpa just looked at me very confused. Also, let's not forget about that man who asked me, "How long have you been Japanese?" 100% seriously. Though that was at my last job at a ramen shop. I'm still perplexed about what he meant by that question, and I'm still perplexed about this whole fake interaction. I'm in my first year of high school. My 4-year-old sister is in class with me because kindergarten was canceled for the day. Okay. My sister is allowed in class because she's well behaved and quiet. She's also smart and likes reading books. My class is learning about World War II. Teacher, can anyone tell me what caused World War II? One of my classmates puts up her hand. It's because of the slaves, right? My little sister lets out a quiet giggle knowing it's wrong. Anyone else? Wasn't it because of America? My sister laughs loud enough for the teacher to hear. My name, why is your sister laughing? It's because they're wrong. World War II started in 1939 because France and Britain wanted to fight with the Germans because they invaded Polish. My sister then goes on to explain the more complex reasons for the war. At the end of her rant, the class is surprised and looks at me. This is a prime example of what you're able to do when you read and have a great grandpa who fought in World War II. Least believable part about this is that somehow you go to school in a place that is a high school and goes all the way down to kindergarten. Ooh, this one looks like it's going to be a nightmare to try and read. At school today, in first class, the teacher got all of us to say our crushes, and I said it was a girl. Her face went from smiling to a face of disgust. She even made me write an essay that nobody else had to write but me. The rest of the day, people pulled my chair, hit me, pulled my hair, and said, "You lesbian freak, you shouldn't sit here," and "You gay motherfucker," and "faggot." The teachers did nothing about it. Right now I'm crying because I know this lifestyle isn't easy, but people should respect others no matter what. What do I do? How do I fix this? Well, since this scenario isn't real, you don't need to really fix it. Also, I don't like you calling it a lifestyle. That implies that it's a choice. In 8th grade, I had a crush on a boy in my class. At some point, I found out my family was moving and I was going to switch schools. So I wrote him a very long love letter. The day after I read it to him in front of my class, my parents decided I could keep going to the same school. I don't even know what to say about that one. Come on, man. Guys, this was inside the seam of a blue disposable mask my son was wearing. We can't remember where we picked up the mask from, and that's where we're gonna stop. We're gonna stop it right there. We conveniently can't remember where we bought these masks, but look, there was a bug thing inside of it. Go f*** yourself. What was your most embarrassing moment? Well, easy. In full bus, I was listening to hardcore metal and started singing out loud with growls and screams and everything. I got applause from a bunch of people, though. I was on a Zoom call for class and I thought I had myself muted, so I was shuffle playing Lunchbox Friends out loud, and my teacher mid-sentence stopped talking and said, "See, we all love Melanie Martinez. Can you please turn the volume higher? I'm literally so proud, send help." Funny, I went in with my own pen and tried to vote, and they ripped it out of my hand and tried to give me a Sharpie. So I took it and snapped it in half, got in the dude's face and told him to give me my pen back before he ended up on the ground. I got my pen back. Even if this did happen the way you tell the story, it sounds like a Reddit power trip. I've never been to Reddit, so I wouldn't know. It's not a power trip. I just got tired of taking people's shit all the time, so I started fighting back. That's all. What is this Reddit you speak of? I have never been to this Reddit before. Me, don't talk about her that way. Him, yeah, I've been cheating on that bitch for months. You don't deserve her. She deserves a nice guy like me that won't disrespect her at every turn. What are you gonna do, be her knight in shining armor? I knelt down and punched the concrete, blood gushing out of my knuckles. I showed him my hand and said, "This concrete won't break, but your bones will, you piece of shit, Chad." He started crying and ran away. Suffice to say, I got the girl. Every time I see that Chad, I give her a big kiss. He just turns his head away and runs off. We get cheered every time we walk down the hallway now. How big of a trilby are you sporting, my guy? So my dad runs a restaurant, and one day, feeling hungry, Gordon Ramsay walks in. No camera crew, just wanted food and to be a I guess. And my dad told him flat out, "Get the f*** out, I'm not dealing with you today." I'm calling BS. LOL, same. Yo. I'd call BS because if Gordon Ramsay walked into your restaurant and you told him to get the hell out, the dude is a multi-millionaire. What is wrong with you? He has the power to increase your business 20-fold, you dumbass. Just had an incident yesterday at Sam's Club. The employee checking receipts at the door screamed at me that I should not be in the store without a mask and that I should shop online. Like I'm a second-class citizen because I won't wear a mask. I got the manager, made this woman apologize to me in front of a line. Therefore, I will continue to shop at Sam's, but I was prepared to hand in my card, and anyone who knows me knows I love Sam's. Oh no, a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate owned by Walmart almost lost a customer because they were following the law. It's gonna let people know out there, even if it's a small mom and pop shop, if you use the threat, you just lost a customer, who gives a shit? You don't hold any power as a single consumer. Get over it. And if you refuse to wear masks, I hope a grand piano falls on you from out of nowhere. When I was in high school, I was approached by the teachers board and asked to teach sex ed, because despite being had to run to Walmart today and saw about 8 to 10 people without muzzles. We greeted each other with smiles and a twinkle in our eyes that clearly said, "We're not sheep." Twinkles in your eyes? Did you guys have an orgy afterwards? I got up and said this during sex ed, and the teacher was like, "At least someone knows." Yikes. I am the smartest man alive. Oh boy, here we go. So I was at my girlfriend's house and we were eating dinner. Her dad was telling me that I better treat her well, and he said, "Whatever you do to her, I'll double to you." I looked at him silently for a second, then I pulled out my wallet and gave my girlfriend $50. Needless to say, me and her dad are now best friends and I have $100. Wow, the smartest man alive doesn't realize that the dollar sign goes before the numbers. So I had a customer at the bakery today come in and almost had a panic attack. The dude and his brother both bullied me all throughout middle and early high school, and I started to walk away to go find another employee to help him. He stopped me, however, not knowing who I was, and then proceeded to talk about how I looked so much like a guy he bullied in high school, and proceeded to ask if I would mind if he apologized to me on behalf of the kid he bullied. Again, not actually realizing who I was. I told him sure, and then after he apologized, told him I was actually the kid. It was awkward, LOL. Wow. What a fantastic redemption story. It had all the good stuff. Most unbelievable part is that the Paul brothers would apologize for bullying kids. Parents are funny as hell. This couple and their daughter are standing in line at Walmart. It's them, this Karen, and then a guy and me. So this little girl asked her dad something and he was like, "Now why would you ask a question like that? If she asked you why you're fat, then you would be mad. Worry about you, not her." Karen behind them. "You know, you really shouldn't be talking to your child like that. That's child abuse." Me. "Aw, here this mofo go. Who you talking to? You! You shouldn't be calling your child fat. That's child abuse. Don't come at me sideways, ma'am. You don't know me like that. And if you must know, I'm teaching my child not to ask rude and offensive questions. Anytime she asks a rude question, I ask her one about herself. So, like I told her, worry about you, not her." Me and the guy. "Okay, that's mental and emotional abuse. You know what, baby girl? Ask this lady what you asked me. Go ahead, you won't be in trouble this time. Ma'am, why do you stink like that? Do you take showers?" That's not a very nice thing to ask someone. It could really hurt someone's feelings. See, when she asked me this question, she was talking about you, and you want to come talking about abuse, but I was trying to save you from getting your feelings hurt. Now look at you, sad and stinky. Third mother. "Hey son, I love your shirt. You look really good today." Me, "As opposed to any other day? Thank you. There's a full-length mirror. You should take a picture." No, it's fine. I don't need to take a picture. "You're not leaving this room until you take a picture. You take a picture now for your social things." Okay. I don't like those hashtags though. Oh dear. "I will never shop at Target again after what happened tonight. We, my family and I, tried to enter, and the door worker got 2 centimeters from my son's face and grabbed his neck and screamed at him because he supposedly wasn't wearing a mask. To defend my son, I slightly tapped the door worker's face, and the door worker started to fake cry and scream. It was embarrassing. We quickly left and will never return." Okay, sweetie. I mean, I banged my high school teacher. What's the big deal? But I ain't putting her name out there, though. She loved my muscular body. Gotta love these fresh, new, young teachers. LOL. Damn, you sound gross. Does it just suck being you? I love Kansas. I was complaining about not being able to breathe in my mask, and the employee said, "Take it off, nobody cares." Then 2 seconds later, another customer came up to me and said, "Thank you for not wearing a mask." What is up with all these stories about masks where people are being thanked for not wearing them? I don't get it. If you want to feel like a hero, you want to feel like a big boy, why is it masks that you chose to fight against? I don't understand. Dude, I was at the skate park and a random kid just yelled at me, "Poser!" But I saw him wearing Thrasher, and he has a Walmart board. And he ain't skating, but he do one trick. But the trick he did is standing. And he's bored and doing Snapchat and crap. And then when he said poser one more time, my friend just throw his board and he snapped the deck. And he called his mom saying, "Mom, can you buy me another board at Walmart?" And he's crying when he's calling his mom for real. And all the skaters, oh my God, I can't. What is this? Dude, learn how to write. For real, can someone call up Mavis Beacon, please? This dude is losing it. U2, Queen, you are a really good band. Queen, thanks, U2. In middle school, my line for two girls was, hey, you ladies like rock? And off course, I ended it with, I like the group U2. So many threesomes! Cracks me up every time. Doctor, is your child immunized? Me, yes. It's not in his records. Why would it be? What do you mean? What do you mean? Who immunized your child? My wife and I. What do you mean? What do you mean? How did you and your wife immunize your child? She birthed him naturally at home and breastfed him for the first year and a half of his life, and we both make sure he eats nutritionally dense organic foods. We also make sure he spends a lot of time in the sun, moving his body daily out in nature connected to the earth, and pretty much only drinks water that comes straight from a natural spring without any fluoride or chlorine in it. But I asked you if your child's been vaccinated and you said yes. No. You asked me if my child has been immunized and I said yes. Vaccinations, immunizations, same thing. You keep using that word, but I don't think you know what it means. What do you mean? What do you mean? Visibly frustrated. Never mind, are you gonna have him vaccinated or not? I never get tired of seeing people think that they are smarter than the doctors that freaking studied this stuff for over a decade. You loser. I know most of this crap is fake stuff they made up for a really, really cringeworthy Facebook post, but nonetheless, they painted themselves as the guy that's so smart that he stumped the doctor. My professor was bitching about diesels and why does anyone need a full-size long bed truck? I stood up and said, because we know what real work is. Do you? I've got a sneaky suspicion you've got one of those bitch-ass $80,000 Ford F-150 Raptors with a bed that's so small you can't fit your average desktop computer in it. So why don't you sit the hell back down? Know what real work is, my ass.